cosmic consciousness, extraterrestrials and UFOs, sacred geometry, ancient civilizations, spiritual connection, the quantum universe. All of these topics and so much more with your host, Sev Tuck, on Alien Spirit with Sev.
Hello, I'm Sev, and welcome to Alien Spirit. My guest is Miesha Johnston. She is a speaker, an author, and a certified hypnotherapist, specializing in ET experiencer regressions, past life regressions, and trauma recovery hypnosis. Miesha founded the Star Family Contactee Support Group and was the director of the Nevada UFO Contact Center International. She's also started a brand new support group for Gen Z and millennials, and we're going to talk about this. This is very interesting, called the Next Generation Millennial and Gen Z Chat Group. Miesha is a third-generation ET contactee and has experienced MILAB and Mk-ultra. She speaks at conferences, gives interviews globally, and has appeared on TV in Europe, Canada, and Russia. And she's featured in the documentary We Are Not Alone on Prime TV. Miesha was a working group member of Stephen Greer's CSETI, and she's now the owner-operator of UFO Night Watch Tours of Las Vegas. She's been leading CE5 type tours in Vegas, Hawaii, and California for 10 years. Miesha is the author of a few books: Covert, Abduction, Military Harassment, Surveillance, Interrogation, and Mind Control. They Weren't Butterflies, a Monarch survivor story. Galactic, Genealogy, Planetary Origins. This book is on my desk. It's a reference book for me. I can't tell you how many times I've used this with experiencers. We're going to talk more about it. And Miesha has a brand new oracle deck called the Unimaginable. Welcome, Miesha Johnston.
Hi, thank you, Seb, for having me here. I'm excited.
My pleasure. Yeah, we first met. Well, we've known of each other for a couple of years, but for a few years. But we first met in person in 2023. It was in San Francisco at UFO Con. Yeah,
At UFO Con.
Yeah. And you were kind enough to invite me to one of your experiencer support groups, and I was really impressed with how you handled everybody, how much time you gave them, the support, and you just created this environment where people felt really comfortable to tell their stories, and people were crying. I mean, some were talking for the first time. It was very, very moving. And so I'd like to talk more about your role as an experiencer advocate. But to begin with, let's find out more about the little Miesha. Where did you grow up, and what were you interested in as a young lady?
I had very few memories of my childhood because of the trauma. I was born into an MKUltra family. My father was my handler and also my programmer. So not a lot of memories, especially not good ones. So as a child, I do know that I had some psychic abilities. I did have, in a positive sense, at the same time these things are happening, I was having some ET contact that really was my saving grace. They helped me feel loved and cared for, even though in my lifetime as a child I was going through, from the first memory I have is my 3-year-old waking up and having my father, do some traumatic things, that were really horrific. And he said, greater pain you'll have than what I'm giving you here. You have to learn how to leave your body. So that's part of what they do. Of course, when
Oh,
trauma comes in to somebody and somebody has trauma, if they're, when mine was, he was my trauma-based mind control torturer. He was the first one I had before they went ahead and sent me on into the program. So um, the psyche splinters. And when the psyche splinters, then they can produce other alters. And indeed, that's what happened. So memories, I'll give you some high points of, I shouldn't say they're high by any means, but they're points of my life. So 3 years old was the first memory on that. Then I also remember around 3 to 4 to 5, I had ET experiences. And I remember seeing what I felt were little deers at my window, 3 of them. And I thought, oh, the baby deers are here. It's time to go. But of course, they were not deers, they were grays standing in a row there in front of the window. And then, so I had those experiences. I also had a willowy one. And I don't think of those as a negative experience because the willowy one is a whitish being, tall white, kind of what you might call a tall white with no hair. And in my opinion, that one was very kind and was with me for the rest of my life until I was, well, most of my life until I was a young adult. So, yeah, so just to kind of paraphrase, those are a highlight. Then at 9 years old, I was put into service for the MKUltra program and taken to what is a sane asylum, but of course in the sane asylum they had uh, beds and they put all the kids in the bottom for the mind control programming and the tortures and things like that. So yeah, so that's why there's not a lot of memories. In my book, I do go into this, and in my second book, I even go into my third book. I go into it deeper, which is being written now. I'm writing it now, so I'm going into deeper memories because a lot of these trauma memories do not come out with people. So people need to understand that when you don't remember your childhood, there's some trauma there that is blocking you. It could be an automobile accident, it could be something happened in the family, or it could be traumatic things that happen one after another, so that you're blocked, that it has been blocked by them, and then also even your psyche has blocked the pain. So I didn't really have memories. And so I've had like 18 hypnosis regressions to I get pieces, and then I take those pieces into the hypnosis session to help me find out my answers. So that's the short answer.
oh, gee, Misha. Okay, that's pretty heavy. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, so what's the connection between you being an MK Ultra at such a young age? You were 3, did you say, when you were in MK Ultra?
At
And
3 years
so
old is when they started programming me and doing my trauma-based mind control torture.
were you having ET contact then? And were you in MK Ultra because you had ET contact, or was it the other way around?
No, my grandmother was a black magic Rosicrucian. I'm not saying all Rosicrucians are that way, but their sect that they were with was black magic. She
Mm.
did the same thing to my father, and my father was a mind control himself, and that's why he perpetuated it and continued it on because that's what happens in an MK Ultra family. It goes on and on and on into generations. Until me, I stopped it.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
Oh well, I woke up and did the healing work and did the work so that I didn't continue it on with my kids. It started to happen with my son. I have 2 sons. It started to happen with him, and he was being abducted in my lab situations. And I actually went in front of my council and asked for help to stop it. And so they did stop that from continuing on.
So you're a third generation experiencer. Can
Mhm.
you briefly tell us what happened in your lineage?
Well, again, my grandmother was a Rosicrucian. My
Mm-hmm.
father was a Rosicrucian. I
Mm-hmm.
also, on my mother's side, had the Masons,
Mm-hmm.
so the Masonic and the Masons. So my and then I became a Job's daughter and also MKUltra and all of that. But that is the generations. As far as the ET generations, it was
Yeah.
just my father and me as the ET generation. We're third
Oh.
generational MKUltra, we're second generational ET. I did not. I don't know. Maybe my grandmother did have contact with a negative group. I don't know because I don't have any idea about other than the MK Ultra. And, my seeing picture of my father with long ringlets and wearing a dress, strange things like that. And
Hmm.
his brother being a cult leader in San Francisco. So yeah, it's just strange family I came from.
So MK Ultra is designed to use and abuse highly psychic people, so to force them to perform psychic acts for the benefit of the military or the government, and they're almost always negative.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's to, for, to force them to teach them and pull out those psychic abilities because everybody has psychic abilities, but they have methods in order to pull out more of the psychic abilities. Um,
Hmm.
Things such as photographic memories. Uh, they teach all the different the delta, the gamma, all the different programs that are in the MK Ultra program itself. They start you out being a beta slave, a sex slave, presidential model, all of those things. And then, so what they're using is your abilities that you actually probably are dormant in you and you forgot about, and then they use those. Sometimes in the super soldier, I'm not a super soldier, but in super soldier programs, they'll take people's psychic abilities and use them. Um, they just, yeah, that's basically it. They use anything they can from the abilities that you have to,
Yeah, it's
you know,
true. It's real. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's real. I've experienced it myself. It is real. And it sounds like it's impossible, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. They're doing things that you and I don't even know about that are even worse. So I don't put anything past our government or any government really on
mhm,
the planet.
mhm.
Now, what is MILAB?
Okay, so MILAB is military reabduction or laboratory abduction. So it is an aspect of the MKUltra program. It is the, shall we say, the shadow government's aspect, shadow military government's aspect of it. And so they will reabduct people who are ET experiencers. They'll abduct people who are hybrids. They'll abduct people who um, well, sometimes they'll just abduct people who the ET. Well, it's always with ET. It's either ET contact, and then they'll re-abduct them, or uh, if they've been watching them since they came in, since were born in this planet that because they're hybrids, so they'll abduct them too. But most hybrids have contact from their ETs as well, so they want to know who your contacts are, who your ETs are, what planets they're from, what abilities you have, were their abilities there, or did the ETs give them to you through your contacts and abduction, shall we say? So they also want to do tests on us to see what's different about us. So those are the kinds of things in my labs. And of course, they also do the MK Ultra things.
When when we say they, do we know who they is or are?
It's not the regular military by any means. It is a shadow government military that is deep underground military bases. So it usually always takes place underground and deep underground military bases.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, a
remember
lot of
being
times they
underground.
take us to malls and do practices and things like that. But mostly it's all the deep underground military bases.
Hmm. And can you end your MILAB if you want, just by declaring I'm done?
Not to them, but with your
No.
galactic you can.
How
And
can
that
you end it then? It's up
you
to
need to
them.
connect with your galactics. You need to connect with your higher power, and you become the sovereign being that you are.
Hmm.
Stop
Hmm.
with the help of the galactics. If you can ask, everyone is born with at least one protector, one guy guiding. Excuse me, not guiding, guardian angel or guardian protector or galactic protector. Everybody is. So getting connect in a really personal way with them, and they you may end up in front of a council like I did, because I was asking for help to stop the MILAB and the MKUltra because I was at my end of my rope, because they had already abducted my kids. They were making threats, and I'm saying they were outwardly doing this. This was in California when Melinda and I were abducted, and I will tell you about that story too. But that was through that time. I was taken many times. I had people come up to me in military uniforms and say, "Aren't you afraid that you're going to get in trouble by talking?" We were writing a book together. We were doing the research for the book. We never got to write the book. My book, the the my first book, was the closest thing to what we were writing. But we were interviewing special forces and military and other and ET experiences and abductees, and we were putting it all into a book about the connection between the MILAB program. So yeah, I wish I could show you that image of what we first were going to do with that book, but unfortunately we've had trouble getting anything to share here.
Yeah.
So so I won't be able to. But yeah, so I just got to a point, I had to have help, and I asked for help from what I knew was my guides. And the next thing I know, I'm standing in front of a council and of a half moon table of these different types of ETs. The majority of them were humanoid, without a doubt, but there were a few that were energy or were reptilian or were. Uh, there was also I'd say it was probably an Arcturian. At first, I thought it was a gray because it had a big head and stuff, but it had regular eyes. So I would say it was probably
Mm.
Arcturian or Andromeda or something like that, because I've had many experiences with many different groups. So that would be your guides. Everybody does have their own council, well, not their own, but that they can go to. So I did, and I said, I can't do this anymore. Get me off this planet. And they said, Beloved, do you remember you asked for this mission? You must complete it. So they're telepathically telling me this, and I said, but I'm whining and crying and saying, but it's so hard. They're going to kill my family and all these things. And they said, one moment. They stopped, and I could see them communicating telepathically because, for some odd reason, it was like they lit up or their chairs lit up. I couldn't tell. Maybe it was the chairs. I think it was really more their chairs lit up when they were communicating back and forth. And then they came back to me, the main spokesman, which was a man in a beard with long hair. And I don't think it was Jesus or anything like that. I mean, I don't know who it was. But he said to me, we've decided we can assist you in canceling your contracts. But you must be the one that does it, which is a very important part of anybody who cancels their contracts. Say they get somebody to help them cancel their contracts. If they don't keep that energy up and the sovereignty of who they are, the spiritual power that they have within them, they'll sneak right back in. So, so they helped me cancel my contracts. They also sent me a protector, a couple of protectors that I could visually see, and so that's kind of how that ended
And
with MILAB.
And so that made you feel safe enough to write the books and speak out and form support groups. Like you're not afraid now.
Nope.
Oh, that's good.
No. Yeah, I've been doing support groups since 1991. Is when 92 is when I actually started the groups. At 1991, I was doing the UFO Contact Center International and bringing in speakers. And so then my Galactics asked me to start support groups, and that's when I started them. And then I had support groups for men and women. I also, because my kids were teenagers, I also started a teen group. And then I also started a teen that were, of course, they all had to have permission from their parents, because most of them were parents who were abductees too. And then I also started a parent and children's, like small children's support group.
Let's talk about your newest one.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see.
Yeah, it's been a lot of years since I stopped those groups because I moved, and
I'm sorry.
Canada,
I'm listening to you.
California, and then came back to Nevada, and that's when I started the 10. No, it's going like about 12 years now. I've been on the internet on different kinds of modalities, and this one is Zoom that I've been on for the last 10 years.
Oh, okay. I am listening to you. It's just that I'm just trying to get this going.
So I'll just keep talking. I explained to them what.
Oh my gosh! Why isn't it coming up? Because I lost it. I'm just going to try for another couple seconds.
Okay. Well, I have all different types of groups. I have ET experiencer groups. I have all types of ET contacts. I have groups that are just like grays and draconian or reptilian abductions. I have starseed hybrid and hybrid parents group. I have a veterans for people who've been in the military and had different strange things happen to them within the. Let me know if I. Okay, I'm just checking. If I don't want to keep talking, if you got it up on the screen.
No, I don't have it on the screen.
Okay. I have, like I said, veterans with PTSD, and many military men have talked, and women have talked about their experience within the MILAB programs, being taken into the secret space programs, all of that. I also have a survivor of SRA and MKUltra Monarch project, Monarch project, child adult trafficking. I have a Starseed Awakening, New Awakening ETs. I have Starseed targeted individuals, because if you're in the programs, they target you. So it's a whole, there's so much about targeting, so much so that just about 75% of my groups we talk about targeting sometime or other during the group.
How does they or the shadow government, whoever they are, know who the experiencers are.
Oh, they know when they would come in.
Yeah.
They know. Oh, well, part of it is tracking too. Experiencers themselves. Okay, so experiencers would be a different thing than hybrids. Experiencers might have tracking devices put in them, and that's how the government knows. So nowadays though, they've learned and have so much alien technology themselves that they don't really have to have uh, tracking devices in you. What they can do is track you by your DNA.
Mm.
I also
Okay.
have, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to talk about your newest support group, why that you're reaching out to the millennials and the Gen Zs, and what's so different about them.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly what that is. During a session with a pretty well-known super soldier, secret space program gal named Olivia James, she has an amazing ability during a session to go in and remote view while she's in there and go to different places and see files and things like that. So we've had many, 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 many regressions. And the last one, well, I've been told by my Galactics, first of all, I was supposed to start these younger people's groups like I did before. But they wanted the teen group, they wanted the children groups, they want those back, okay? Because people need to understand it's going on in their family. So that's one thing. And I've been told for 3 years now to do that, but it never seemed to happen for me. And so this group is a next generation millennial and Gen Z group. Happened basically the final thing did it was when I was in that session with her, we went to, or she went, I follow along because I can see inside of people's regressions. So we went to a place which what I say would be an alphabet agency. And I don't know how much I'm able to say, by words and things on your network here, but I'm just going to, are you
whatever you feel safe, whatever you want.
Okay, so it's not like monitored like YouTube and all of that.
No.
Okay, good. All right. So getting back to that. So oh my goodness.
The alphabet agency.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what okay.
You were in a guided okay. You were in someone was being transgressed and you went on a trip with them.
Yeah, right. Thank you. I'm getting some attacks that I'm trying to make my brain scrambled.
I understand.
Yes. So I had a session. We went into what was like a CIA and talked to this man, and this is like our second, maybe even third time in these sessions to talking to these different kinds of groups. And this one talked about the Olympians. The Olympians are children, and so we had two aspects of this session. One was talking to somebody from the future who was, let's say, the White Hats, the Galactics. They're connected to what's happened in Earth's future. And they said, if you don't help the Olympians, the darks were going to get them. So we're tasked with, waking them up and because they are awake. They do know. They experience things through their gaming, their movies, all of their types of things that they're involved in, their interests, their some conspiracies, different things like that. But so within that session, we talked to the agent, and he said, that was a good agent, who said that you have to save the Olympians and you have to wake them up. Many of them are hybrids that have not woke up yet. but they're there to do the mission. They're going to be the ones that are going to be saving your planet. So that's why I started this in the first place, was I know that they are. I mean, they're star seeds, they're the indigos, they're the crystals. But now they're grown up and they're adults or young adults. Because your Z starts with, I think, about, I don't know, 11 or 12 and goes up to 25 or 6 or so. And then you've got the millennials who go on up to even as much as 42. So that's the age they're going to be allowed to come to the group. And I do mean it. It's going to be only for them. I'm going to be, set it up. And then I have a host that's going to come in that's in their age group to be able to communicate with them in the right way so they feel more comfortable. So this first group is going to be Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And Stephanie is her name. She is a 28-year-old experiencer, and she will be the host. So
how does one participate, and do you vet?
I vet. Yes, I do. Well, first of all, I got to vet that you have to be within that age, from 18 to 42. I can't have anybody younger unless they come in with their parents. Then they're welcome to. And if they do come in with their parents are most likely millennials anyway. So,
okay.
That's, perfect. They can come in that way, but they have to have a parent. And then 42, that's the max I can do. That's even kind of pushing it. But I just want everyone to feel comfortable and be talking the same, language, believing in the same way. So I will have them on Zoom. They will be, of course, free. I put out the announcements via Facebook, and I'm trying to get it into TikTok or Instagram. So I've got these the younger people who are going to be there'll be like 4 hosts that will be filling in every group, which is once a month. I'll have the group. And if it gets bigger, then I will have it. Then I'll have it more. But for right now, it's once a month, and it is on Thursday, the 23rd. Yes, Thursday, the 23rd of January, and they can contact me at starseedawakening.org. They can go to my email, starmisha99@yahoo.com. They can get a hold of the, I will probably have some emails. I haven't, being the first group, we're having a little thing. I have to make sure that my hosts, I'll give some emails out of my host as well so they could contact them. But I'm the one who's going to be setting up the group, so it's really best to contact me, because then I'm going to get you into the group, because I'm the one that has the paid Zoom, and I'll get you into the group, and then they will take over.
Yeah. Are you the one doing the vetting?
I am the one doing the vetting.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, you have, like we said, you have many groups. So you said the cutoff age was 42, but that's not for your other groups. Like you can be older and still be in one of your groups. Yeah.
From 18 to 75, right?
Yes,
85,
right.
95. I don't care.
Now, are the Gen Zs and the millennials, are their ET contact different? Different beings, different lessons, or is it pretty much the same as ours?
It's probably pretty much the same.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you where it's different. They're going to have a lot more of the astral experiences through their dream time and things like that, because that seems to be just what I've seen. Many, especially in the MILAB and the Secret Space Program and anything like that, it seems to be coming through the astral. A lot of ET experiences coming through the astral dreams. So because the ETs know how to do that and have been doing that for, a long time, they've been coming astrally, but now the government, or shadow government, I should say, knows how to do it too because they've got the alien technology. So they can take people astrally.
All right, so it's more of a interdimensional experience than a 3D, the ET coming into their bedroom and they feel like they're flying through the window. For them, it's much more an interdimensional, almost like a dream-like experience.
Yeah, it can seem that way for sure. It can also be physical because dream time is a dream memory is how they'll uh, give that screen memory so people don't, doesn't upset their lives, But there are still physical experiences happening without a doubt. They're still
Yeah.
much more etherical and much more astral.
And are they getting the same kind of messages about love and unity and self-empowerment? Are they getting those kind of messages?
Well, the millennials I've talked to are.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The millennials awake are definitely getting those.
And are they incorporating this experience easier than we did? Are the younger generations more apt to believe it and not go into that crazy head game that most of us went into and thought we were insane? Do they think they're insane?
That's a good question because it took us so many years to get to that point to not think you're insane and finally come out and allow themselves to awaken. They're awakening much earlier.
Wow.
And I do believe, though, that there's a lot of the different levels of hybrids that have been coming into this planet with genetics. And I do believe that they're much more awake. They wake up faster. Yeah, I mean, like, it blows me away when I can talk to these amazing 26, 28, 35-year-olds that do come into the group that are so much advanced, so advanced. They're talking to their galactics, they're experiencing things, they're experiencing astral experiences that are just phenomenal. So, yeah, they're really amazing.
That's wonderful. That makes me very happy to hear that. And I'm hoping that along with this comes a sense of empowerment for the girls. Is that what's happening? Yes.
Very much empowerment. And many of them realize that they do have a mission. They do have a mission, and it's an important one.
So are they becoming teachers and healers and speakers and writers and artists? Are they tending to go in that direction, or a lot of them becoming computer programmers?
Well, they'll be doing that too, but they are, there's many people who are in the healing and in the leader spiritual roles. I've met many of them that are also doing grid work and doing spiritual aspects of things.
Yeah, too. That's fun.
And they don't actually know it's grid work until somebody really tells them. They just say, well, I've been doing my traveling around the world, and I meditate and things like that, but they don't really know that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and then you tell them, and I bet that's a really rewarding feeling. They probably get a sense of, oh, now I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's talk about the hybrids, Miesha. Do they look like humans?
Well, if you're talking about the hybrids that are on this planet, yes, they have some differences. They may have higher foreheads, bigger heads. Their eyes are very, very penetrating, and you can actually see that, excuse me, that old soul kind of look in their eyes. Pardon me. They may have even different genetics going on. They might have extra teeth or something like that. They might have an extra rib, but they might have different kinds of things going on that are slightly different. They're very, very sensitive to drugs. They're very sensitive. They're going to be a lot of kids that are having what seems to be autoimmune because they, and I shouldn't say kids, I call them kids. They're not kids. They're from 18 to 42, right? But they probably have some autoimmune things because they are, well, I should say, yeah, because they're different. Their brains are wired differently too. So they think in different aspects. Many of them have autism, Asperger's, dyslexia, other
Yeah. Yeah,
OCD.
all those letters these little kids have. Right. And I feel so bad to label them with these letters. And when my clients are sometimes the parents of these kids, and we talk about try not to define them by the letters.
Right.
Because that affects the child. Like, yeah, right. And these kids tend to be depressed because they're having a hard time fitting in. Their parents don't understand them. And so at the one, it seems to me they're really consciously aware. And you can feel you're talking to an old soul, but at the same time, they're kids. Well, and also older, but while they're kids, how do they integrate in with society where their psychic abilities are so stronger than others? And so they're taught to keep it down. Don't talk about that. You're nuts. How do they acclimate?
I know that's why it's also very, very, very important that the parents of hybrids realize it and be that help.
That's
support.
scary. How do you tell a normal American couple that their kid is a half alien?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. And there are. I mean, because we as hybrids do not pick happy, safety kind of lives. We don't. We pick some of the rough ones because we learn the most from that. I mean, how are you going to know the light until you've experienced the dark? So, they're going through that, and they're in some really difficult family situations, probably, traumatic things going on.
Yes, yeah. That seems to be the pattern for people who become healers or therapists, is they've had a lot of stuff in their lives, and so they've come through it, and now they can help others come through it, and you become the best teacher that way. So I do tend to think that healers and hybrids and these children who are here to help transform Earth are coming in to situations where they have to feel the crap. They have to feel the negativity, and they have to feel the pressures and the problems in order to help. Yeah. So, yes. So I think we're running out of letters and things. Like, what's the next group going to be? And how more advanced are they going to be? And when you talk about the high forehead, or the big head, I don't know how anybody can look at Trump's son and not think that kid's like an alien. I mean, I don't even know what he is.
Yeah, you're right. It's very interesting. He is.
The energy that he radiates is unusual.
It is unusual.
Very unusual. And it's an energy that doesn't match his age. When I look at him, I feel like I'm looking at Caesar. Like the kid has this energy about him. It's like, I'm here. And I'm like, he's only like 18 or 19 years old. He seems to be just really put together. I don't know. It's kind of scary, but interesting at the same time. We'll see what becomes of him. But if we need a poster child for a hybrid, I mean, I think he'd make a good one.
Don't you? True. Oh, that's very true. Right.
You know what I remember? When you and I were at the in San Francisco at the UFO con, and we were in the vendor room, and the hotel had lost all my books, so I couldn't sell any of my books. So I was at your table, and this little kid walked by. I think he was the son of someone who was next to you, and you kind of whispered to me, "What did you say?" You either said, pixie or you said fairy. I can't remember what you said, but I don't know if you remember this. And
Is he an elf or is he a fairy? Yes.
yeah, something like that. And you could tell, like there's some people who actually look like little elves or little fairies. So does
Mhm.
that automatically mean they are one?
Well, they certainly have some genetics. You know, I do it this way. When I was in my experiences with my hybrid experiences myself, I was in the nursery once, and I'd had other presentations, but this particular one, there were a lot of kids in there, and I asked, which one was mine, and walks this one that's kind of looks a little bit like a reptilian. Has kind of light green skin. He's a little stockier than the other kids. And I said, well, who's the parents? Who's the father? And they said, well, Ayano and the all. Well, Ayano was my, shall we say, guide protector on the planet, and the all means many, many different races. So I do believe that, and even more so now, that they're adding so many different genetics to these kids.
Oh.
More than just like a Lyran and a human, or the
Oh.
they are doing mixtures and stuff in order
Oh,
for it
that's
to work.
interesting.
Because it can't
Mhm.
work. Like, for instance, reptilians really cannot, I don't think, anyway, from what my understanding is, they cannot actually, shall we say, mate with a human. It has to be genetics that are used. They have to be
Oh, in
inseminated
a lab. It has
in
to
a
be
lab
oh,
type of
okay.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. So you're thinking the generations that are about to come are more of a mix and match, more like mutts, like galactic mutts.
Oh, I don't think they like that name.
Well, I say
um,
it with love and
yes,
compassion.
um, there are galactic families, genetics, shall we say, from many, many different races. That's 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 my opinion. I could be absolutely wrong, but I do remember them telling me, in my case, it was that way. And then I had my final time in the nursery where there was lots of kids, different colors of kids, kind of aspects of fairy looking, and a little bit on the animal side of kids. They had different looks to them. And I said, which one is mine? And they said, they all are. So they're busy with those genetics. And so I think those are the ones that didn't make it on Earth, okay? But the ones that did make it on Earth um, are making it on Earth are here for a really special reason.
Do you believe Do you believe we hear all these rumors about royalty being reptilian and such? And do you believe that?
Do I believe that royalty is reptilian? Oh,
Well,
you
the
mean like the
British
ones over
royalty.
in England? Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
I
You
do.
do.
I do.
Hmm. Is this a negative vibe or a positive vibe?
It's not a positive one.
It's not. Mm, hmm. Hmm.
The service itself, at the least, if not very negative and cultish, and that's my opinion.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you believe in certain parts of the world there's a particular being, entity, ET that's prevalent? For instance, maybe South America, Mexico, maybe it's more reptilian oriented, um, or do you find that these beings are all over the place?
From what I've gathered in contacts, if you're talking about contacts or abductions, they are different in the other countries. Yes, they seem to be. I have people, um, from Italy and Australia, and yeah, they may have some of the regular ones like the grays or the reptilians, but they also seem to have some different ones.
Like what?
Yeah, yeah. So I would say I think it's so whatever location that group's supposed to be working with, maybe? I don't know. But
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, is that an entity, a galactic being that belongs to that part of our planet?
Mhm.
And that's their territory, that's
It
their
was there
area.
before. It was it was probably history. They were there
Yeah,
before, and they came back to that region.
right. So, like Mexico and South America with they idolize the reptile. So is
Mhm.
that because maybe that was the first landing spot of the reptilians and they kind of just that was their part of the globe and that's the part they ruled? Is that
Good point.
just throwing
Quetzalcoatl,
ideas out?
Quetzalcoatl for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
that's
definitely a
exactly
reptilian. So yeah,
right.
that makes sense. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
The other areas don't have anything to do with reptilians. Africa's another one with the reptilians. Of course,
Oh.
America is with reptilian. So, but there's so many other races. There's the feline races, the aquatic races, the mammalian races, and those take in so many different kinds. So I just say they're in different regions. I think.
Well, I wonder if the psyche of the people in that particular part of the world or the collective consciousness determines the the intergalactic beings that are hanging out there. So maybe lower if the collective consciousness of that area maybe is a lower vibe, then there's a prevalence of a lower vibe being there. What do you think of that theory? No.
I don't know. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I really don't know. All I can think of is it keeps coming to me, and I'm going to just say it. There's the Venetians, that Valiant Thor, Commander Valiant Thor, came to Henderson. I mean, here in Las Vegas, outside of Las Vegas, and landed their ship. And their ship stayed there for years and may still be there. We don't know, in the invisible place or in the interdimensional space. But there isn't anything real positive about Las Vegas. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful race. Venetians are very kind of similar to Pleiadians in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
their idea about people is, people are responsible for their journey, and they chose where
Mm-hmm.
they're at, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't think there's any good and bad in anything. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Out there with all the different types of galactics and everything like that, I think it's very close to what Star Trek is like, where there's so many races working together cohesively in a galactic way, and I think that's what it's like out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But as for the ones here that are centered here, yeah, we have a lot of reptilians and grays here.
Yeah, we do, don't we? We definitely have a lot of grays here.
Hmm. And a lot
But we also have a lot of higher energy beings as well.
that are coming here, yes, and that are here and living here, absolutely, that are walking among us, 100%. We don't even know that they're extraterrestrials.
Are you one?
Yeah, they walk among us.
Are
But
you one? You look like one, Miesha.
I'm hybrid.
Are you saying you are?
I'm positive I am. I actually think I might even be. I'm looking into it more, but a walk-in. I don't believe I was here at the beginning of her life. I think I'm a walk-in. I came in after some of the worst things happened to her.
Ah. And do
That's
you think that contributes to why you have a memory loss?
probably could be.
Ah.
I never really thought of that, but yes, it could be. I never really thought that could contribute to why what I contributed to is being able to handle what memories have come through and not have them affect my life, not be, I've gone crazy because I've gone through some really rough stuff.
Yeah,
So
Miesha, how did you pull it all together? How did you do it? Did you reached out for help?
I reached out at help in 1982. Up until then, no, I hadn't. In
Who
19,
helped you?
I first went the route with a therapist, and then
A
they treated me
traditional
like,
therapist?
yeah, they treated me like I was nuts. And
Yeah.
because of what had happened in my life and everything, I wasn't well off or anything, so I had to go the other route where you get help from and where they sliding fee type of things and stuff like that. So I started out with just like in the government therapist. It's a government program. And immediately they put me on lithium and all that because I was in their mind
Oh.
nuts. And so it went on for
Oh.
quite a while. And then finally I got, I got lucky, whatever you want to call it. A woman showed up who was a therapist who believed me. And so when we went into the uh, sessions and I talked about my experience and stuff, and she said, "Well, I don't see that you need to be on this heavy of a lithium. Let's put you on something lighter." And so she did, and then she ended up hypnotizing me, and so that's when my
Oh.
because she believed me, and she wanted to know more. So yeah,
Yeah, she was your angel. Thank goodness for
yeah, she
her.
was my angel. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Miesha. Thank you. This has been amazing. Seriously, I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. You're a wealth of information. And you're one of the sweetest people I've ever known. If anyone's lucky enough to meet you in person, they'll feel your love. It just radiates from you. And yeah, that was the first thing I felt when I first met you was just love, like unconditional love. I could feel it. Thank you for radiating that. Please tell us how we can get in touch with you and what
Okay.
you're up to if you have any new projects. Oh, your
Oh,
cards. Gosh darn it. We didn't even talk about your Oracle cards. Can we talk
oh,
about that? Let's
yeah, we can talk about
talk
that
about them.
quickly. These are my oracle cards. Oops. These are my oracle cards. Upside down. These are my oracle cards. So I have made these oracle cards to help me help people find out what their experiences are. And they're called the ET Unimaginable deck, and you can get those on Amazon. You can get my books on Amazon. You can also get them on my website. If you get them on my website, I send them directly to you and I sign the book. So
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
I My groups are very, very important. I have 3 a week. I have on Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. The Sunday group is from 12 to 3, and it's all types of things. You can come and talk about any subject you want in that group. And the other ones all have their own individual topics as well. I didn't, let's see. Well, that's okay. I think I went through all of them. There's one I missed I wanted to tell you about is the Galactic Light Language and Channeling Group. So that group is for the people who are connecting with their galactics and speaking light language and doing automatic writing, automatic drawing, automatic music, all of it. I invite them to come and join that group. It's also a free group. I do have some groups that I charge. I charge $22 a month to come to up to 14 groups a month.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
deal.
I'm just, I don't care. I just need to cover my expenses. That's all. So,
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
so there, so I have that group, and tomorrow I have a today is a targeted individual group, and tomorrow is the new generation. So if you are a new generation and you see this, please come to that. They're going to be on the 4th Thursday of every month. So every month the groups are the same schedule, just so you know. Okay, and you can reach me at starseedawakening.org. starmiesha99@yahoo.com is my email. And I'm going to be at the UFO Con in San Francisco. I'm trying to think of the date. April 4th through the 7th.
Oh, good.
And then I will be at the Full Disclosure in Florida on July 15th through the 18th, I think it is. So, so that you can see me.
I'm glad you're out there, out and about, and people can meet you. Thank you, Miesha. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye-bye.